Good morning, folks. This is Minister Ed. Just to give a little background, a little bit more background about myself. I am a baptized Methodist. To my right, I'd like to introduce Deacon Anne.
I was raised and baptized a Lutheran, but have visited other denominations as well.
Okay, and today we are going to be taking a reading from Our Daily Bread, which can also be found on the Android Play Store as a free app that can be downloaded. What date are we taking this from? What's the name of the reading?
All right, this is taken from November 27th, 2016. The title is The Red Hackle by David Roper. It begins with a reading of Psalm 92, verses 12 to 15.
Okay, at this point, I will take up the reading. Psalms 92, verses 12 through 15. The righteous will flourish like a palm tree. They will grow like a cedar of Lebanon, planted in the house of the Lord. They will flourish in the courts of our God. They will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh. They will bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green, proclaiming the Lord is upright. He is my rock, and there is no wickedness in him. Now we go to our main reading.
Several years ago, I stumbled across a bit of fishing lore in a 2nd century ad work by the Greek writer Aelian. Between Beroca and Thessalonica runs a river called Asphartus, and in it there are fish with spotted skins, trout. He then describes a snare for the fish by which they get the better of them. They fastened crimson wool, red wool, around a hook and attached 2 feathers. Then they would throw their snare, and the fish, attracted by the color, comes up thinking to get a mouthful. This is taken from the On Nature of Animals. Fishermen still use this lure today. It is called the red hackle. First used over 2,200 years ago, it remains a snare for trout, by which we get the better of them. When I read that ancient work, I thought, not all old things are passé, especially people. If through contented and cheerful old age we show others the fullness and deepness of God, we'll be useful to the end of our days. Old age does not have to focus on declining health, pining over what once was. It can also be full of tranquility and mirth and courage and kindness, the fruit of those who have grown old with God. Those who are planted in the house of the Lord shall still bear fruit in old age. They shall be fresh and flourishing. Lord, thank you for your faithfulness throughout our lives. Help us finish our lives well in service to you, and to remember that old age does not mean uselessness.
Amen. As the years add up, God's faithfulness keeps multiplying. Today's insight In Scripture, Psalms 92, the psalmist proclaims in verse 12 that the righteous, the faithful, will flourish like the palm tree and grow like the cedar of Lebanon. The palm tree was associated with the value, both ornamental and economic, and palm fronds were already being used in worship. Leviticus 23:40 as a reference. The cedars of Lebanon are almost always used in Scripture to illustrate strength, stability, and majesty. At the time this psalm was written, magnificent evergreen cedar forests graced the mountains of Lebanon with low branches, the expensive canopies. These trees can reach up to 100 feet tall. The psalmist's prayer is for the righteous to increase like the cedar and blossom like the palm tree. I think this is a pretty good reading and a pretty good insight today. Remember, this was taken from Our Daily Bread, an app that can be found on the Android Play Store, which is free. I would like to thank Deacon Anne for her input today on this reading. I think she did an excellent job doing the whole reading on the main body and doing the final prayer. Thank you, Anne, for your help today.
You're welcome.
And here we close out today our reading from Our Daily Bread.